Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the latest edition of Jake's Take Jacob Elyachar Podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Elyachar, the pop culture and entertainment news writer, and I host Jake's Takes with Jacob Elyachar Podcast. Before we get started today, please like and thumbs up and subscribe to everything on social media and to this platform. I'm very excited because I have an incredible music-making duo today. They're known as MIDDLESPOON, so please help me welcome Alexander Beatz and Lonely Child to the podcast. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to talk with me today. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
You bet.
Our pleasure.
All righty, gentlemen. So I would love to learn your individual origin stories first, and then I would love to talk about MIDDLESPOON's origin story, if you don't mind. So, when did you get interested in music, and how did that passion evolve into the desire to pursue a career in the recording industry?
I'll go first. Grandma was a concert pianist. My mom is a singer. Kind of just grew up with music. Always loved singing with my mom. You know, my mom was a huge inspiration for me. Kind of introduced me to a lot of my, influences: Erykah Badu, Chaka Khan, Michael Jackson, Jamiroquai, the list goes on and on. So yeah, music has always been a very, love dancing, it's kind of just always been a form of expression for me, right? And so I realized finally, doing some careers and kind of realizing that I wasn't really the best person when I wasn't doing music, right? And so I was unhappy. And so I wanted to, follow that path more full time. And so that's kind of how MIDDLESPOON came into being. It's kind of the first real project I've done. It initially started with me and producer Jinx McGee, who we did the EP, and then we brought Lonely Child in for the full album, the next project, which was some years later, and that's really when it started to level up and everything started to come together and on a real professional scale as far as recording and being in the actual main stage. I don't know if
the main.
I told you you should talk about it. Why am I talking? You're piece, bro. Okay.
Don't worry about it, Alexander. You did a wonderful job explaining.
Only you know your story.
Oh, right. That's right.
All righty, Lonely Child. I gotta hear your story first before we get to.
Sure. I mean, I've been playing music since I was a little kid. Piano lessons since I was 6, and I think despite my parents' best wishes, kind of just took to it, and just been such a part of my life that I knew I couldn't exist without spending a good chunk of my time doing it. Because I just get physically ill if I'm not making music, 40, 50 hours a week. Like I just need to do that. So the only way in this country is to make it your career in order to facilitate that sort of thing. So that was kind of the drive behind that, because there's just really no other way to fill that need without it being your job. Because there's only so many hours in a day and got to work, all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, I grew up in the Midwest, moved down to Austin, Texas, and was producing music for all kinds of pop artists and, pop singles and stuff in Nashville and LA and Austin and everything.
You've worked with other people?
Yeah. I was working on someone else's music right before you got here.
Okay. No, go ahead. Go on.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Sorry, not sorry. But anyway, but we met at a show a few years ago, and I knew his manager and all this stuff, and but at the beginning it was just another project, and then the music was just really inspiring, and it became a lot more collaborative, and it was so clear it was such a reflection of all of my musical sensibilities and kind of what I'm about with music and songwriting, and it just clicked in a way that it hadn't really clicked. So I just kind of went from being a hired gun to just being like, I'm all in on this, because this is just as much a reflection of what I'm about as it is what he's about.
Yeah, because we had the first EP was like I did it in my home studio. I'm not a producer. I mean, I can produce pretty well, but not like as far as like I wouldn't call myself a professional producer, right? And so I'm a singer, I'm a writer, but and I help with production stuff, but it's like so when I met Brian, it was like I just kind of knew that it would be a good fit because I saw his skills, from afar, and I also, saw his temperament, and I was, kind of bugging him all the time, like, hey man, and he's like, yeah, and then finally we got together, and it happened, and it was really awesome because it really did level everything up.
I'm so glad to hear that because that is amazing. Lonely Child, you said you're from the Midwest. I'm coming all the way from Overland Park, Kansas. So what part of the Midwest are you from?
I would say more Great Lakes. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, originally. So
wait.
Far east of the Midwest.
Wait, is it like this, guys? Right? You do the thing with the lakes. The lakes.
I've never done that.
Okay, never mind.
I've never done that either. First time ever.
You know what I'm talking about, okay?
Real Midwest.
Yeah, whatever, bro.
Alrighty, so I'm glad you guys have a great origin story with that, and it sounds like it's going up wonderfully. So I know that you mentioned Michael Jackson and Erykah Badu for your sounds, Alexander. Lonely, do you have any influences like to share who influenced you?
I mean, I can't. It's impossible. But I can say in the context of this music and what I think resonated the most with me and what really aesthetically is like at the core of what I'm into, or the best way I want to express myself, is just, for lack of a better word, like the bombastic nature of theatrical music and pop music in at such a scale. And I mean, I want to say broad, but not in a pejorative way. Broad in the sense that I want to hit as many human beings as possible with the message. And so finding ways to musically, aesthetically, lyrically, melodically tap into these sort of timeless qualities of everything from pop music, show tunes, jazz, just hyper melodic, hyper textural, cinematic, just the most music possible. Right. Do you know what I mean? Because
it's the enjoyment of the process, right? So it's like you're getting to do, especially now, like not every project you get to do what you want, right? And so you don't always go into it thinking you're getting to do what you want. And so sometimes when you stumble on these things, you're like, oh wow, we're really just like we want to use all these elements, right? And we get to and the beauty is the action of doing that is so enjoyable, right? That's why we do it.
It's cathartic. It was the first time where every intuitive, visceral response I had to the music was exactly what he wanted. Usually I have that feeling and then the artist is like, no, that's too this, that's too that. And so that's fine. That's the job of a producer. But this was the first time where it was my personal musicality and inspiration and my first gut reaction to what was right was exactly the right thing for the music. And it was wow, this is a reflection of dude, it's everything from Michael Bolton to Glenn Miller to Stevie Wonder. It's just Andrew Lloyd Webber. It's everything to me. It's this visual, theatrical. It's just all the things I love about music and art, and completely earnest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not cheesy. It's just earnest. It's just, we love music so much, and this music, we got to do all the things that we love about music without anyone saying that's to this or that's to that. It was more more of that. This is all of that, and that's what else could you ask for?
I totally agree. You had some really good musical influences, like Stevie Wonder and Andrew Lloyd Webber are masters at the top of their field.
That's I have a Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder's on my arm, man. Every day.
Wow. That's pretty cool. I actually saw Stevie Wonder the day after Michael Jackson passed away, back in 2000.
Oh my gosh!
It was an emotional show.
It's heavy. Wow. Where was that?
It was really good, and I give Stevie all the credit. I was worried he was going to be canceled because of that and how close he and Michael were. But it was one of the most recognizable shows. really good. He said Never Can Say Goodbye, and then unfortunately he lost at the end, which I totally don't blame him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a difficult day for a lot of people.
Yeah, I was about ready to go on. I was about ready to study abroad, and one of the things I was going to do is see one of his shows.
Oh my gosh. That was the O2. He was like prepping for that all the big London stuff.
You know you did. This is it tour type shit. He was doing the whole new biggest
documentary
show
about that.
Yeah.
I think he was going to do it if he was. I think they were so ready to. He was, and after watching the documentary, I thought he was going to be able to. That was his comeback.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, it seemed like that at the time for sure. Man.
Yeah. Have you guys heard of the Michael Jackson musical, my MJ the musical? Because I'm actually seeing in October.
No,
I'm
not.
No.
Yeah, it's basically it takes place during the Dangerous tour rehearsal, and then with flashbacks of his life, which I'm very excited about.
Wow,
cool. Dangerous was a big one.
Yeah,
because I was, just born right after Thriller, first one where I was like a live person, and it was new Michael Jackson music. So Dangerous was huge. Like Free Willy, Willy song was on there.
Will You Be There was still probably one of his best songs of all time. But I gotta say, I've actually corresponded with Cynthia Garrett with an interview back in 2017. So it was she co-wrote "Keeping the Faith in," "Man in the Mirror," and actually sang on "I Can't Stop Loving You." Really great memories. But enough about Michael and enough about Cynthia. It's all about you too. So the question I have is, we all know that our industry, the entertainment industry, is very challenging to get into. So individually, what were some of the challenges that you faced breaking into the industry? But how is Middlespoon facing these challenges as a duo? And how have you guys overcome those obstacles so far?
I mean, I wouldn't say I don't think it's something you ever necessarily overcome.
Yeah.
You're kind of constantly at the mercy of, you're only as good as the last thing you did, which in some ways is a good thing. I mean, it really stay good and give a shit about what you're doing. But obviously there are challenges. I mean, there's only so much room for, certain types of music. And that's why you're really, and as you should, as a human being, you're searching for something that is truly reflective of you as a person or us as the two of us together that only we could do. And Jinx was a big part of this music too. So that only the three of us could do. And if you're doing that, if you're being true to yourself and putting something out in the world that only you can put into the world, I mean, that's really the best you can do.
Absolutely, yeah.
There's nothing else. You just need to enjoy the process, because the rest of people talk about the music industry like there's like a headquarters and there's like people you talk to, like it's a complete free for all.
Yeah, it's madness. I mean, it's really I mean, it's like a lottery system. I mean, it's
the best day and age now to just put your best foot forward and do what you do, because you can reach people that mess with what you do directly, and you don't necessarily need certain gatekeepers and all this stuff. There's a lot of noise, you have to break through that, but in terms of just putting it out there and doing good work, there are less barriers than ever to do that.
Sure,
that's a good thing.
And that goes doubly for me in the media industry as well, because I never thought that working in I'm entering my 11th year of doing independent journalism.
Wow. It's amazing.
Yeah.
That's like unheard of 25 years ago. 20 years ago.
And the podcast, we're entering year 3 of the podcast. So
amazing.
This is
great.
Big. So, and I had big things are ahead of me, because Crush on You is fabulous, gentlemen. And I was dancing along before you guys came on. So it's a really good jam. I really like it. I would love to know the story behind the song.
So we were on track. We were with a 2020 release for this record, and we were finishing about 3 tracks a month. getting them fully produced out, recorded. And, you know, COVID hit, and then we basically took like a 4-month break. And, you know, at that time, you know, Jinx had been kind of like, you know, he had moved away and, you know, started kind of doing his own thing and kind of leaving the band a little bit, starting to leave the band, but still involved in the beats. And so he showed me this beat he had made. And I immediately was just like, oh, it was like Summer Crush. I was like, I had like Crush. I had Crush in my mind, right? Like, and, you know, that weekend I came back in from Dallas into Austin, and me and Brian started working again. And I showed him, I was like, hey, check this, you know, song. I want to, you know, maybe we can put it to the record or not, you know, because at this stage we still have like roughly 16 tracks that we were going to do and or pick 12 or 10 from, right, to do. And as soon as I showed him this track, he was like, you know, we had a schedule every day, right? We're doing this song, this song, this song. Every day I come in the studio is like, how about today? Can we work on Crush today? What about today? You want to work on it today? So, you know, as soon as I was like, okay, let's do it. And then we basically just, you know, went out back in the studio and wrote it in like 25 minutes. You know, I had like the first little bit of the verse, and then Brian was like this. And I was like, okay. So yeah, it just kind of came together like that. And it was like pretty much done and done outside of that.
I gotta say, 25 minutes. I've been hearing so many people writing songs in under 25 minutes. And I still gotta say, Sia has this gold standard for under 5 minutes for a Sia track. No one can touch her.
I know. When you know, especially like this sort of Nashville style of getting the title first, if the title and the vibe of the instrumental or the chord progression are in sync, you're kind of just have built this perfect environment, and you know what the song's about, and the mood is right, the feeling is right, and then it just happens. And so you can do your best to facilitate moments in the studio where you have your best shot at getting something like that. So this beat, this instrumental, and then the title Crush, it was just like, I don't know, it was the right universe.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, we just knew exactly what to do. It was like a good assignment.
Yeah.
And it's a great hit too, because you got some really good acclaim. Billboard, Out Magazine. So what does it mean to receive these claims and receive these praises?
Yeah. I mean, it's great. It's you know, I mean, we definitely, you know, want to give it to a broader audience. I want the you know, people to appreciate it, right? It's like, you know, but once you create it, it's basically it's for the world, you know. Can't really, you know, we just hope that it, you know, we did our part, you know, and we put everything into it, and at this point it's kind of and so it's great to have people, you know, appreciate it, obviously, right? Because it's definitely like, in a way, it's like a baby that we like fostered into existence and put everything we had into it, right? And so it's definitely, you know, it's validating to find that people love it, right? And it makes us feel good, right? Because that's the whole point. We want people to enjoy it. We want people to listen to it and enjoy themselves, right? We want them to dance and to feel a moment of freedom, right? If there is such a thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's clearly a fun song. It was fun to make. Like, it was made with love, and like, I hope people respond to that. As far as like praise goes, it's like, I don't really care about that.
Right.
You know, I just want the best praise. If someone's like, I can't stop listening to that song, I just love it. Like, I feel like that's a real human connection,
right,
when you make something and saying it from your heart, and someone else feels it in their heart.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not, press doesn't do that. You know, words don't do that. That's way deeper.
Right.
All that other stuff is just noise, you know. Sometimes you need it, sometimes you don't. It's good to, however, you want to find as many of those people as you can. We're trying to make a real connection with people.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely, because connections count, no matter if you're just doing it on a song brand or social media, or if you're through America's Got Talent or like shows like that, or The Voice or something like that. Connection is connection.
100%.
Yep.
100%. And ironically, we're in a very disconnected time. You know, people are yelling at strangers, and it's like, and it's crazy. And like, this is something where it's like, if you can get through the noise and just be like, here's something we made. We think we presented it in a way that people will understand what it is, and it knows what it is, this music, and we know what it is, and it's just, if you vibe with that, awesome, and if you don't, like, that's totally okay. Well, that's fine. Just trying to find the people that do, trying to find the tribe, you know.
Absolutely. And once you find your tribe, you're in.
Yeah, that's all we need. 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people.
100 million people.
28 billion people.
Yeah, what?
Intergalactic.
Yeah. Alrighty. So have you guys thought of, like, who are the collaborators that you want to bring in for, like, they could be singers, they can be other producers or songwriters, or even instrumentalists, and how would they enhance Middle Spoon's sound?
I mean, it would, I don't know, I feel like, playing with, like, some cats like Thundercat or something like that would be dope. Like, like Anderson .Paak, some, doing some, man, what do you?
Well, I mean, we've already got on the
Calvin
album.
Harris, shit.
Yeah,
that'd be amazing.
I mean, there are a couple features on the album that are not announced yet that were people that we really, really wanted to work with.
Huge wins for us, for sure.
And we're so grateful that they were down for the cause and on board with it. And, I mean, again, the influence is just like, I personally, and I know for you too, like, I just love, like, pretty much all music, like, so much, like, all of it, that, like, I will work with pretty much anyone who also loves music.
Yeah, it's about the vibe.
It's just like
if you're controlling or this or that, then it's like I don't really have time for you, even if we're not even talking about music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like at this point in my life, I can't, and again, it's like to each their own, but it's like I can't be like, conversing with someone that's like either just like, bringing the vibe down, into a selfish way or an insecure place. It's like if whatever the task may be, if we're in a loving, creative space where anything goes, then yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I'm totally down.
So yeah, there are some people for sure, but also I mean, like, the best collaborations are with people. Neither of us are, like, particularly known outside of, like, our scene, but that's it's about the human being, even more than the musical, like, ability or prowess or anything. It's about, again, like, it's about setting the scene and creating the right environment for people to freely be themselves and to express themselves. And if there's mutual respect, that's all you need.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, there are definitely people.
Yeah, because I could choose people like in my genre or my number of genres I like to do, but ultimately, like, working with an exciting person that's excited and, exuberant and enthusiastic, that's really what, and like is down to like make something, scrap it, tell me this, or I tell them this, or they, let's make it happen. Like that's really, I think that's what most creatives would admit to, is that it's like the act of creating in that free space where those moments of freedom where you're touching that greatness and you're like, oh, it's just so clear, right? And so that's kind of what we all strive for, and we get them in moments. Sometimes we get it, for a few minutes at a time. Sometimes some get it for hours, but well, what are we talking about here?
Dream collaborators. I'm so sorry, gentlemen.
Who gets what for hours?
There's so much talent that no one has ever heard, and that a lot of people will never hear.
Yeah,
and 100%. I think that's an unfortunate thing, but also that means for every one person that everyone's heard of, there's like 50 people that are like super dope and unique and amazing people and hungry and willing to
got mad skills.
And it's just like, that's what all we can ever control is the moment of creation of the art. Everything else is,
I totally agree. I totally agree, because I love bringing on independent artists to this platform because of your hunger, your desire, and you guys definitely deserve to have something that can have of a platform that's worthy of covering your music and helping you expand your fan base.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that too.
Thank you.
Awesome. I know you just mentioned, you dropped in the mention the album. So what can my audience look forward to from this album?
Whoa, great question.
Yeah.
songs. More songs.
9 more songs from Crush on
That's
You.
First. They'll be sequenced, but you'll be able to shuffle the sequence on your streaming platform of choice.
Damn it. My mouthpiece is broken right now. What are you doing? You're embarrassing us.
Let's see. There's some amazing features.
Yeah, no, serious.
Some unexpected stuff. And I think I'll just, mouthpiecing it, like Crush on You is very much like pop forward.
Bubblegum pop for sure.
And it's not all of that.
Yeah, no. We got some like trap hip hop pop. We got some like Animal Collective pop. We got some, there's something in there for everybody. We got some like more housey, forward pop. It is kind of like all these different styles. It's a bit of a spectrum of, it's funny because I feel like sometimes you go as a writer and you're like, I'm not gonna write another bunch of love songs, and that was like totally me during this time. And then I was like ended up writing every like 9-10 different types of love songs, right? Whether it's like you're on your way to the club and you're like falling for someone right when you see him, and you can't get him out of your mind, or it's like that nostalgic love, or it's like the spatial love, or it's like you're all kinds of stuff. And it's like, it's just funny. I'm like, well, I can't, well, I did that, I guess, but it is cool because it is a bit of something for everybody in there, and it's not like so on the nose where it's like, oh, these are all just love songs, because they're all kind of very unique in their own way and kind of about something, right? And so
you were dealing with a lot of love.
Yeah.
You gotta write about what you know.
Absolutely, you gotta write about what you know. Otherwise, you'll take a very long time on something that you guys do not know.
Yep, that's right. Trying to figure out something you don't understand.
All right, we gotta start winding down our conversation. So, second to last question: what are your thoughts on social media? What are your favorite social media channels to interact with your fans on?
Wait, so what are our favorite social media pages? Like, what are we?
Yeah, channels like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and like where do you guys interact with your fans on?
We all across the whole thing. I think Instagram is definitely our, biggest, as far as like we've had that the longest. I mean, we still have Twitter, we got Facebook, we got, the TikTok. But yeah, I think, for the best kind of updates, I'd say like TikTok and Instagram would be number one, probably would be the best for sure.
Awesome. So where can my audience, last question, are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Where can my audience find your music, number one? And number two, where can they connect with you on social media?
Find us on Spotify. Across all, Apple Music, all those things.
Apple Music, Spotify,
YouTube. We have all our videos on YouTube, right? We just, released the new Crush on You video. We have some other videos in there as well, some live videos, some other music videos from the past.
More coming in the future.
And then more coming in the future. No, so we have, another single releasing, and then with another video, right? So that's the whole thing. We're, 10 songs, 10 videos. So that's our goal, right? And so
that's a great goal. And by the way, it's a wonderful video. I really like Crush on You's music video. Very, very vibey, very Last Friday Night-ish, combined with Call Me Maybe, combined with elements of Baby One More Time.
Yeah. Well, and that's a lot. And then, so it's like, you see my man here, but then it's like my guy behind the scenes, Augustine Sanders is, been there since day one. He's like been helping me build the aesthetic of the brand through and through since day one. So it's like, all the styling and the props and the building, it's like me and him do that together basically. And we build and we plan out everything. And so
he's a genius.
Big shout out to him, because he's been there since, day one. Right. And so stay tuned also for Bomb Bomb Boy, September 23rd. And the video's coming out too.
Yeah, next Friday.
YouTube, yeah, next Friday. Wow,
awesome. So guys, if you missed an episode of the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar Podcast, Apple Podcasts, Deezer, Google Podcasts, Podcast Addict, Spotify, and Spreaker, Jacob Elyachar, JACOB ELYACHAR. Are you guys on social media? Because I'm on social media too. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Jacob Elyachar, JACOB ELYACHAR. And as mentioned in this interview, JakesTake.com is celebrating 11 years. So, thank you. For more articles, interviews, and reviews, head to jakes-shake.com. Alexander Beatz, Lonely Child, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to talk with me today. I really appreciate it. I cannot wait to hear your new singles, but also cannot wait to listen to the entire album in its fullness.
Thank you so much, Jake. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, have a great one, everybody. Goodbye.